Paying a high tax over here in Nigeria and I'm getting good results and a standard life of living over here, I wouldn't be complaining. I will be proud. Hi, welcome back again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have you ever wondered what has made the Nordic so outstanding, from the rest of the world? I mean, everything that has to do with the Nordics is just always exceptional. What has made them so perfect? I really wonder. And today we're going to check out a video that explains why they have become so perfect and outstanding from the rest of the world, ranging from politics, the system, education, healthcare, and everything that has to do with the Nordics is just outstanding. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you're new here, I am Lauren and it's a pleasure to have you. Let's dive in.
Why are countries like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland and Iceland always topping the charts for happiness, equality and quality of life? What's their secret? Is it just high taxes and free healthcare? Or is there something more to the so-called Nordic model? Here's the real question. Could the Nordic model work anywhere else? Or is it a utopia that only exists because of unique Nordic conditions? And is it really as perfect as it seems? Today we're diving into what makes the Nordic model tick, its myths, its challenges, and why it's captured the world's attention. So you may ask, what the flip is the Nordic model? At its core, the Nordic model is a unique blend of free market capitalism and a strong welfare state. It's characterized by high levels of taxation, universal social benefits, and robust labor protections. This combination aims to balance economic efficiency with social equality. The Nordic countries are renowned for their comprehensive universal welfare programs, which provide free or heavily subsidized access to healthcare, education, childcare, and unemployment benefits. These programs are designed to ensure that all citizens, regardless of income, have access to essential services that promote equality and well-being. Healthcare systems prioritize preventive care and accessibility with minimal out-of-pocket expenses for patients. High tax rates are a cornerstone of the Nordic model, funding the extensive welfare programs that underpin the system's success. In Nordic countries, personal income tax rates can exceed 50%. And there are significant taxes on goods and services through VAT, which typically ranges between 20 to 25%. While these rates may seem high compared to other nations, they are widely accepted due to the tangible benefits citizens receive, such as free healthcare, education and childcare, as well as robust social safety nets. If you add the costs of, in example, healthcare and education in the US on top of their tax rate, then Americans end up having a larger overall financial burden than the average Nordic citizen has through taxes.
All right, talking about high rates taxes, paying taxes and getting the value for what you're paying for isn't a bad idea at all. I mean, over here there is an adage that goes, better soup na money. So if you want to eat something nice, you gotta put a lot of money into it. So if they are paying high taxes and they're getting a good quality of life, I mean, it's something any country should, imitate, because every country pays taxes, but the majority of the countries don't really get what they pay for. Like over here, we pay for taxes, but we don't always get what we want. I mean, ever since I was born, I never really knew what taxes were used for, because you can't really differentiate what they are meant, what they have been utilized for. So high taxes rates and then a good standard of living, a quality standard of living is it just complements everything. It complements a whole lot of things. If I were paying a high tax, getting good results and a standard life of living over here, I wouldn't be complaining. I will be proud to say I'm paying a high tax because I'm getting the result for what I'm paying for. This is amazing.
Strong labor unions are another defining feature of the Nordic model, playing a critical role in shaping equitable workplaces and fostering economic stability. In Nordic countries, a significant portion of the workforce, up to 70% or more in some cases, is unionized. These unions negotiate collective agreements that set industry-wide standards for wages, benefits, and working conditions, ensuring fairness and reducing income inequality. Unlike in many other nations, labor unions in the Nordics often work collaboratively with employers and governments, fostering a culture of consensus rather than conflict. This cooperation supports high levels of employment, productivity, and innovation while maintaining protections for workers. Despite their robust welfare states, the Nordic countries are committed to maintaining strong, open markets that drive economic growth and innovation. These economies embrace free trade, minimal barriers to entry for businesses, and a competitive corporate environment. The Nordic model thrives on balancing economic freedom with social safety nets, enabling businesses to innovate and compete globally while ensuring workers have support during transitions. Nordic countries regularly rank high on indexes measuring ease of doing business, attracting investment, and fostering entrepreneurship. Companies like IKEA, Nokia, Spotify, Maersk, and Novo Nordisk are examples of globally recognized brands that emerged from this dynamic market system. This openness to trade and competition allows Nordic economies to remain resilient and adaptable in a globalized world, proving that a strong welfare state and thriving open markets can coexist and reinforce one another. The result of this mix of helping citizens achieve success, supporting them in healthcare, and partnering a strong state with free markets is what you see today. But how did the Nordic model develop? To understand the model, we need to look at its origins in the early 20th century. The development of this system was shaped by a mix of cultural, political, and economic factors. The Nordic model is deeply rooted in the agrarian collective mindset that developed over centuries in the region's rural societies. Harsh climates, limited arable land, and isolated communities required cooperation and mutual support for survival, laying the cultural foundation for the social solidarity that underpins the modern welfare state. In Denmark, for example, cooperative movements in agriculture emerged during the 19th century, revolutionizing farming practices and rural economies. Farmers formed collectives to share resources, such as equipment and knowledge, and established cooperative dairies and slaughterhouses to process and market their products efficiently. These movements not only improved productivity, but also fostered a sense of shared responsibility and economic equality. Similarly, in Sweden, parish communities were historically organized to manage common resources, such as forest and grazing lands. This collective approach to resource management created a culture of fairness and trust, which later translated into broader social and economic policies. The Federation of Swedish Farmers also played a key role in organizing rural communities and advancing cooperative farming methods. In Norway, farmers relied on dugnad, a tradition of community labor, where neighbors came together to complete tasks like building barns, harvesting crops, or maintaining infrastructure. This spirit of collective action fostered a deep sense of community and mutual reliance, values that are still evident in Norway's high levels of civic participation and trust in social systems. Norway also introduced state-controlled hydropower plants early on in its history, which helped propel its wealth levels to what it is today. Iceland's agrarian roots can be seen, pardon my Icelandic here, in its rapier system, an early form of local governance where communities pooled resources to support the poor and manage communal grazing lands. These systems emphasized shared responsibility and decision-making, shaping Iceland's strong social cohesion and resilience. Even Finland, where farming was often supplemented by forestry, developed cooperative movements such as Osuuskunta Metsäliitto or the Forest Cooperative Society. These collectives allowed small landowners to pool their resources for logging and timber processing, ensuring fair distribution of profits and sustainability. Nordic labor movements played a key role in shaping the Nordic model during the industrialization of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Unions and social democratic parties emerged to fight for workers' rights, fair wages, and better conditions, rooted in the region's culture of equality and collective action. The collaborative approach with employers and governments led to industry-wide agreements on wages and labor standards, avoiding the class conflicts seen elsewhere. This partnership helped build strong welfare systems and labor protections, forming a core pillar of the Nordic model. Cultural values are fundamental to the success of the Nordic model, with trust in government, social cohesion, and equality deeply ingrained in these societies. For instance, in Norway, 48% of citizens reported high or moderately high trust in the national government in 2023, surpassing the OECD average of 39%. These statistics are similar in the other Nordic countries, and trust in the police is well above average in
Wow, guys, that's really amazing. I mean, the citizens having trust in their government for utilizing their taxes. It's really amazing. I mean, can't imagine asking a random person on the street if they believe in what if they believe in what the government is capable of. I mean, I don't think you would ever get a good result out of that because today you hear something else and tomorrow you see another. Yeah, it just doesn't work hand in hand. It's just contradictory. It's totally contradictory because you see projects being allocated and yet they're not done. So to find out that citizens in the Nordics really trust their governance, and yet, yes, it's worth trusting. Because just seeing what they do with their taxes and how far they've come makes me believe in the governance of the Nordics. It's really amazing, guys.
average in all 5 nations. This trust enables the implementation of extensive welfare systems and acceptance of higher taxes, as citizens believe their
So
contributions are managed effectively. The strong sense of social cohesion and commitment to equality further support policies that promote equal
definitely they
opportunities
will.
and reduce disparities, making the Nordic model particularly effective in these countries. The Nordic model is often hailed as a benchmark for balancing prosperity and equality. I'll let you know why I think it is the best way of governing a country in the world today. And to prove it, I'll show you some of the measurements that show why that is. I spoke about this in my video on why dictators hate the Nordic countries, but I'll dive a bit deeper here. Low inequality is a hallmark of the Nordic model, achieved through progressive taxation and redistributive policies. High-income earners pay more taxes, funding universal benefits like free education, healthcare, and childcare. All Nordic countries have some of the lowest Gini coefficients globally, reflecting their success in reducing income disparities.
Yeah.
Strong labor unions and collective bargaining further ensure fair wages, preventing extreme pay gaps. This approach fosters social cohesion and
Wow.
economic stability, making the Nordic countries among the most egalitarian in the
Definitely.
world. Secondly, it is important to consider what the Nordic citizens think of their lives. As with the last 20 or so years, a Nordic country has been on top of the World Happiness Index, with all the others being top 10 consistently, and most often, Nordic countries can be found in 4 out of the 5 top spots on the ranking. Economic competitiveness is a key strength of the Nordic model, demonstrating that a robust welfare state and a thriving market economy can coexist. Nordic countries consistently rank among the most competitive economies globally, with all 5 economies being in the top 20 worldwide. Businesses benefit from open markets, minimal barriers to entry, and transparent regulations, which foster entrepreneurship and global trade. The last and likely most important measurement for a country's success
Yeah.
is how corrupt it is. The Nordic countries consistently rank among the least corrupt nations in the world, reflecting their
All
strong
right.
governance.
What else? I think that's all. We've heard it all. We've really, really heard it all. What else do you want to hear? If you're talking about corruption and it's ranking one of the lowest, I mean, on the top, oh my God, what else do you expect? What do you want more from these countries, from these Nordics? They're just too much. Wow. So it's not just about their high quality of life and the good governance. It also boils down to corruption being the lowest in the world. Oh my God, this is amazing. Wow. A country that is corruption free, then tell me why they wouldn't excel. Tell me why they wouldn't excel in everything they do. Tell me why they won't appear on the top chart. Why won't they appear on the on the highest ranking as world best countries? This is amazing, guys. Wow. I never really knew about this. I just getting to find out that the Nordics are also the lowest in corruption. Just I think I rest my case really. I don't know what to say anymore. They are just amazing. This is just too much for just a single country. Definitely they deserve to be envied by other countries. Not like mine. I envy them more. Ah,
and transparency.
Definitely.
In the 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index by Transparency
Yeah.
International, Nordic countries ranked in 4 out of the top 6 spots for the least corruption out of 180 countries. This low level of corruption is attributed to high levels of trust in government, strict accountability measures, and robust legal frameworks. Despite its reputation, the Nordic model is often misunderstood. Let's clear up some common myths, often thrown at the Nordics by people from either extreme side of the political spectrum. I'm going to start off with a bit of a pet hate for myself. Often, when I talk about the Nordics with colleagues or friends from America, France, the UK, or South America, the term socialism is often thrown at me as an accusation. While the system includes strong social programs, it's far from socialist. The economies are market-driven, with private ownership and free trade playing crucial roles, but with a state capable of taking care of the people's interests if a market sector gets out of hand. Neoliberals will often say that the Nordics are just giving everyone free tax money, creating a weaker participation in work life. However, this is total nonsense. All statistics show that there's no correlation between a strong welfare state and unemployment. In fact, both Norway and Iceland have less unemployment than the US, where you need to work to live. A social safety net seems to contribute to people getting back to work, rather than the opposite. Again, this argument is one I hear a lot from my American and UK friends. But when you add up all the expenses an American has to pay because the state doesn't help, the overall financial load for living a healthy life is generally higher than any of the Nordic countries. We accept high taxes because we receive good services back. Furthermore, the Nordic economies are on par in both competitiveness and all indexes of a healthy economy with all other nations on Earth. While the GDP per capita is slightly below the US, the money made are spread much more evenly among the population, rather than mega-rich oligarchs. Out of the 5 Nordic states, only Norway has considerable quantities of oil and gas. And as we discussed in a previous video, Norway didn't get rich because of oil, but rather used the oil to get richer. Oil isn't necessarily a golden ticket to a good state. If so, Russia, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and so on would be the best countries on Earth to live in. All 5 countries in the Nordics do well with trade and innovation, which is the key indicators of a successful economy. Before you head into the comments to say that the Nordic countries aren't perfect, yes, we know. The Nordic model isn't without flaws. Here are some of its challenges. High taxation is something the Nordic culture is used to. You almost become conditioned to seeing it as a necessity in order to have a functioning state. Implementing the same in a country where people are distrustful of the state would not work. It would need to be a slow process where societal institutions would need to prove that they can handle the added responsibility and funding. Like many developed nations, Nordic countries face pressure on pensions and healthcare due to aging demographics.
Oh my god, guys, I think I'm gonna trek my way down to the Nordics because this is way too much. This is way too much. I mean, we gotta stand up for these countries. They are doing a hell of a job. This is great, guys. Wow. Man, who's gonna say they ain't trying or they ain't perfect? Nobody's perfect, but they are way beyond the flaws that you see in some random countries. Like, gosh, this is amazing. Wow. Please, I'm okay, even if you guys have flaws. I like it like that. Wow.
This is something that needs to be addressed in the coming years by either increasing the funding for families, or the Nordics would need to adopt the Japanese or South Korean style managed decline, which by all accounts works fairly well. Immigration integration is a complex challenge for Nordic countries, balancing their commitment to equality with the practicalities of integrating newcomers into their societies, who often do not share their love for religious freedom and democracy. In Sweden, unemployment rates among foreign-born residents remain significantly higher than native-born citizens, with a 2022 report showing a gap of nearly 10%. Social housing shortages in Denmark have led to the concentration of immigrants in specific areas, contributing to segregation and slower integration. It seems that more and more political parties are waking up to the fact that the immigration policies of the last few decades have caused significant issues, particularly in Sweden, and that the screw is about to be tightened. Nordic countries, with their small export-driven economies, are highly sensitive to global market shifts and trade disruptions. Exports account for a significant share of GDP, between 70 to 40% in all nations, making them reliant on international demand and supply chains. Events like the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical tensions between China and the US highlight their vulnerability to global slowdowns and instability. One of the big questions is whether the Nordic model could work in other countries. While some aspects like
I don't think it will work in some random countries because this, I'm not mocking, I'm not trying to mock, okay? But let's just try to compare. Talk about a country like my own country where I come from, where corruption is the solution to the situation of our nation. You can't just bring in the Nordic model to, impose it here because it won't work. Because it's just not gonna work. Humans are gonna stop misallocating the funds, and we've had series of cases where monkeys swallow money and snakes, swallow money and all that. So it's not just gonna be humans anymore. It's gonna be human versus animals that are gonna be misallocating the funds. It's not gonna be a case of the humans. So it's not just gonna work. It won't work. It's not possible. Wow, man, I'm so proud of the Nordics. They are doing a great job, and despite their flaws, it's nothing compared to what you see out there in the real world. I think I'm gonna track my way down to the Nordics. I need to go and see it by myself. I need to go and use my two eyes and see this thing.
aspects like universal healthcare
Just
or
too
labor
much.
protections can be adapted. The model is deeply rooted in Nordic culture and history. Trust in government, social cohesion, and a collective mindset are critical factors that aren't as prevalent in other parts of the world. Still,
Yeah.
there are lessons to learn. Investing in education, reducing inequality, and
Oh
balancing
my
market
God.
efficiency with social welfare are principles that any
Who
nation
is
can
perfect
apply.
in the
To
world?
conclude, the Nordic model is more than just high taxes and social benefits. It's a carefully balanced system that prioritizes equality, innovation, and quality of life. While it's not perfect, its successes have made it a global benchmark for what
Hopefully, it can
societies
only
can
work
achieve
there.
with the right policies and cultural foundations.
Thank you so much for this one.
So, is the
I really love this video. I love it so much because it has opened my eyes to so many things I never really imagined were possible. Imagine a country being low on corruption. I've always imagined, corruption is just a general thing, and to people like me, it feels like it's a normal thing because the level at which it has occurred, it's as if it's been rooted into our system that it is the only way out. It's just the only way out. Because if you want to talk about the government, now leave the government out of it. How about we as personal individuals on our personal lives? How do we socialize with one another? Corruption is just seems to be the only solution to this situation of our people. Because wow, this is amazing. I mean, the Nordics, man, I'm coming for you guys. I'm coming. I'm trekking. Yeah, because I can't fly. I need to trek down there and see these things for myself, and if possible. Wow, this is great, guys. I really love it. I love this video. Please, I'm gonna leave the link to this original video down my description so you go check it out. It's really amazing. And please do well to subscribe to the channel and like and share for more of my videos. And please support my channel if you like this video, if you like what I do and you wish to, support it. You can support it by purchasing maybe the super thanks or joining the membership to help my channel to grow and also improve my production capabilities. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. I remain your girl, Lauren. Bye.